On this week's show, a Keith Urban concert at Peloton's All for One, and Rebecca Kennedy is teaching Pilates again.
Plus, personal training plans on the Peloton app, Peloton is being featured by Twitch in a Fortnite game, and much, much more.
Welcome to Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. Here are your hosts, Amanda Siegel and John Pruitt.
Welcome to episode 195 of Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. I'm John Pruitt. I'm joined this week. It's just a boys episode. I'm here with Chris Lewis. Amanda, she's in the city this weekend, I think.
I believe so. I believe while we're recording, she's taking some All for One classes.
No, must be nice, Amanda. Must be nice. Enjoy. Hope it was worth it.
We can get a full report from her next week on that.
Yeah, we got boots on the ground there. Well, before we get started, I'll just do the whole spiel for us, Chris. So before we get started, we always like to remind you watching, listening, where you can catch us. Pelo Buddy, we're on all social media platforms: X, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. I think that's the whole gamut of them. But you can also listen to us if you're on the go and just want to hear the audio. We're on all traditional podcast platforms as well, so search Pelo Buddy TV there. And please leave us those 5-star reviews. We really do appreciate those, and it also helps to reach a much wider audience with those when we get those ratings up and those additional reviews. So please keep those coming. We really do appreciate the feedback that we receive in those as well. So it really does mean a lot to us. So with that, why don't we get right into the show?
First, let's do a rundown of the latest Pelo news.
And first up, on this year's All for One Music Festival, the classes kicked it off with a very special surprise. So country music star Keith Urban performed a concert live in person in the cycling studio with Hannah Corbin. It was pre-recorded a couple days prior, so it was a live premiere on Thursday morning, the 26th, I believe, at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. But Peloton had shared the news via Instagram saying, from now on, every class should be a live concert, first ever live country performance at Peloton Studios. And right now, you know, the festival is obviously, today's the last day because today's Sunday when this recording is coming out.
I believe it goes through Monday, actually.
Oh, through Monday. Oh, 26th through the 30th. Great. Yeah, I stand corrected. So kicked off on Thursday, the 26th, ends on the 30th. So Keith Urban, he had previously been announced as one of the featured artists. And he was there. We were kind of curious how it would look, but he had two different setups. He had a microphone and his electric guitar at the bottom of the stairs where instructors usually walk down in the studio and then make their way over to the stage. And then he also had a separate mic stand for his guitar and for singing, like right in front of the stage at just one little angle, like at I guess like the 4 o'clock position.
Yeah, and they had a fancy lighting. They had a fancy lighting package behind him as well. Like they had some new bar lights set up so they could do some interesting lighting effects. And they had it probably wasn't a Steadicam, but they had a handheld big camera like moving around to get some very unique angles.
Yeah, and some of the wider shots, you could kind of see the other camera person sort of standing there just like at the edge of the shot, like barely out of frame there. But yeah, the lighting package was cool. It almost looked like this sort of stained glass ribbon sort of lighting around some of the mirrors that you could see back. I liked it.
Yeah, it was definitely different. Like they said, this is the first live country performance that they've had. Definitely true. You know, the closest thing they've recently had similar to this, I would say, would have been the Little John. When he was in studio, you know, he was the DJ. Yeah, he did some songs here and there. This one, they actually started, the very first song was a standard recorded song from the new album. This was in promotion of Keith's new album, High, which came out a week or so ago. Yeah. But it kicked off with, you know, just a traditional song. Hannah did the intro, and after the first song ended, she said, we have a very special guest. the camera turned, and there was Keith in person playing his electric guitar. I believe the first song was an instrumental, maybe, or just lots of guitar solos. And then after that, he started singing. And in addition to singing his songs, he actually changed a couple of the words. Like one of the songs he ended with "on a Peloton bike," and he made one other reference to Peloton in the middle of his song. So, rather than having, he wasn't on a bike. He was literally standing there playing guitar, singing the songs, and that was the backing music.
And in a Peloton tank top, I might add, too. So he was a true team player, because I don't know, they probably threw him that, and he obliged.
And he spent a little bit of time.
What's that?
He spent a little bit of time before and after, because several of the instructors had been sharing photos, with him from the green room and from before and after. So several of the instructors, it wasn't literally he ran in, did this, and ran out.
That's fun. Yeah.
He at least spent a couple of minutes, and said, yeah.
I like that. I was really, I didn't take the class, but I wanted to, watch it and post a clip from it. But I was really trying to figure out if he was actually singing, because his voice sounded so perfect. And I didn't hear, normally when someone's performing live, you hear them breathing, gasping. I didn't hear any of that. So I was like, are they just playing his album and he's sort of like gently singing over it with the mic turned down?
I was having the same thoughts, but there were some moments where like Hannah interrupted him and he would reply back quickly to her.
Yeah.
So it seemed like he was singing.
It wasn't it wasn't like he was lip syncing, but I was like, okay, maybe he's like singing over his track a little bit, and they mixed that really well.
Yeah.
And one other thing that was very cool, towards the end of the ride, there was a female member in the front row.
Spoiler alert! If anyone is going to be worried about this spoiling, it's not a big spoiler, but just FYI.
No. Yeah, there's a female member in the front row. It was her birthday, as well as I believe her 5,000th ride.
Yep.
And she was given an acoustic guitar that Keith signed on the spot that Hannah, gave him, and he presented it to the member who was, on her bike still, and gave her a hug. So that was a
nice little touch in there. And Hannah had mentioned on in the teaser that had been posted to Instagram, some of the members had, because that was included in the video. Some of the members had said, "Man, I don't know how I would have been able to keep riding after getting that guitar and hug." And Hannah replied, we kept that surprise to the end so that it was, everyone could end with that.
Yeah, smart. That's the way to do it. Well, shifting gears a little bit. So fans of Peloton's Pilates content will be pleased to hear that an additional instructor has now been added to that regular Pilates roster, and it's Rebecca Kennedy. Beginning Monday, I for some reason I wanted to say Kristen McKee. It's just like Freudian.
Taking the old slots that Kristen might have used to have.
Filling a very deep hole left by Kristen McKee in her recent departure. So beginning Monday, October 7th, Rebecca, RK, will have a weekly Pilates time slot on the Peloton schedule at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Normally, I believe the weekly live Pilates time slot was usually Friday mornings with Kristen, sometime around like 9 or 9:30. It's a little bit of a change from that. But Rebecca is not technically a new face to Peloton Pilates. Her last class in that discipline was a while back. It dates back to the second batch of Pilates classes that Peloton had ever released.
Her last and first until now.
Yeah, from 2021.
Yep.
So took a little bit of a hiatus. She's only taught a total of 4 during her time, but she'll now teach the modality on a regular basis, which is great. So her reintroduction to the Pilates roster comes, at a notable time, like I said, with the recent departure of Kristen, one of Peloton's 3 regular English teaching Pilates instructors, alongside DT, Shaw, and Anna Greenberg. I know Irene Kamer and Mila Lazar, they also teach Pilates, but in their native German language.
Yeah, I saw Mila had a class added this past week as well in German, so they are doing those. And I know one thing that Kristen at the time had been the only one who had been doing Pilates with accessories, the ring, the ball. And when Kristen left, they actually said, we're going to keep doing this. They made a collection. They immediately dropped a handful of classes from Anna and Aditi. we haven't really seen any others till now, so it'll be interesting to see if Rebecca starts doing any of the accessory ones as well, over time as she evolves.
Kristen had just started to get into using props more.
Yeah.
Just before she left, and she was soliciting feedback, and folks really seemed to like the accessories that she was adding in there, mixing it up.
Well, and other new things that are coming, Peloton has launched what they are calling their personalized plans on the Peloton app. It is also known as the weekly training plans. For anyone who has a Peloton guide, you've actually had this feature for around a year or so. They were called the weekly workout plan on the guide. Like I said, it launched about a year ago there. And what it enables you to do is you give it a little bit of input, and then every week it will generate a custom plan for you with a set of suggested workouts. They are now bringing this feature over to the Peloton app, which will clearly open it up to a lot more people because a handful of people have the guide and everyone has the app. So we'll get a lot more feedback on that. There are some changes being made to it. When you open it and when you get started, the first thing you do is you pick your fitness goal. At this time, there are only two choices. You can build strength or support weight goals. They did say they are bringing more options soon, which is build endurance, healthy aging, or improve my pace. The next thing that you do is you tell it what type of workouts you want your plan to suggest. So you can say strength, cycling, running, rowing, and it will curate what it gives you based on that. You then tell it how many days a week you want to work out, between 3 and 7, and then what your preferred workout length is. Once you do all that, it will then use that input and generate your weekly plan for you. The one thing it says it's doing, which is kind of neat, is it actually goes back and looks in your workout history, and it looks at who your most frequent or your favorite instructors are, and also what type of music tend to be on those rides. And they will use that as an extra input to the classes it suggests for you. So if there's, let's just say, 15 or 20 classes that map whatever, training structure you need for that day, it will guide you by default to one that might have your favorite instructor. So it's kind of using that to make it more likely for you to do that. If you don't like the plan it gave you that day, it can give you 2 or 3 alternatives. So you have a couple optional ones. And you can also, if you don't like the days it prescribes stuff for you, you can click and drag it around. So this is just Peloton over the last year or two has really been getting into personalization and trying to make classes easier to find for people. So this is just another step in them trying to make it easier to find through the thousands of classes and help, members know what to do.
I like it.
Yeah, this was, we shared this summer that Peloton had 3 large beta programs. This was one of those 3 large beta programs. And it's now in public beta. So if you update your app, you should see something on the home screen that would say, create your weekly workout plan. Not everyone has it at this point, but they're just randomly opting people into it. And over time, they're going to keep adding more and more people to it.
I like it. I don't know if it's going to get me to use my guide finally, but I like it.
But you don't have to now.
Not just exclusively for the guide.
No, it started over the last year exclusive for the guide.
It started with the guide, okay.
Now that same feature is now on the app.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, in other news, Peloton is teaming up more with Twitch. Over the last, I don't know how many months, Peloton has been doing paid advertising on Twitch, which is a video game streaming service owned by Amazon. They stream some other stuff as well, I'm sure, but they're known for video game streaming. Twitch is launching what they're calling their own custom Fortnite creative experience, which is their own game built kind of on the Fortnite gaming platform, and it's being called The Glitch. But one thing they're doing is that some of their advertisers, which Peloton is one of them and Domino's is another, are going to be featured heavily in this game. So it's a game where you're running around this world and there's going to be glitch events, and when that happens, you're sent to a moon and you have to do something on this moon. But the different moons are going to be their different paying advertisers. So Peloton is going to have their own branded moon that players will be sent to. So this is just a way for them, it is for their paying advertisers, but they will get a big feature in this game as being one of their branded partners. It was supposed to launch last Friday, I believe, and they started laying the groundwork for it, but it didn't fully roll out. Peloton was at, it's called TwitchCon, I believe, in San Diego, And
yeah,
while
I
they
saw
were
some
there,
of those videos.
yeah, so they had a demo on their screens of the game, and it shows the player running around with guns with a big branded P in the background. And I think there's just going to be a big cross integration there. So we'll have to see, what comes from that, if they are able to get any more interest and eyeballs on Peloton from that.
Looks like they had a few treads set up there.
Mm-hmm. They were doing a fundraiser, and I believe they met their goal. I didn't see exactly what you had to do for them to meet their goal.
Some folks were playing lane break.
Okay.
In one of the clips that I saw, yeah. Nice. Well, Peloton has released week 2 of their Discover Yoga collection. This is a standing postures program, which is led by Mariana Fernandez. So it's described as, in week 2, Mariana explores upright postures you can do with 2 feet on the ground. One thing to mention about this program is that it is actually found in the collections area of the Peloton app. So this means there's no badges. You don't have to officially opt into it. And there's day 1 is as follows. It's a 10-minute foundations standing posture. That is out. That came out on the 23rd. Then they all came out on the 23rd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then day 2 is a 20-minute closed hip standing postures. Day 3 is a 20-minute open hip standing postures. Day 4 is a 15-minute symmetrical standing postures. And then finally, day 5 is a 30-minute standing postures yoga flow. Yeah, I have not delved into any of this. I'm sure Amanda, if she were here, she'd have a lot to say about it.
Yeah, and just one thing to mention, we mentioned last week when it first came out, they're going to be doing these every week for the next 9 weeks. So I guess 7 weeks left now. Every Monday they will be releasing them. But in an unexpected twist, Kristen McGee and Ross Rayburn are both going to have a week. So Kristen McGee's program is actually going to drop on the 30th, tomorrow, if you're listening to this when it comes out, and that's going to be a twist program. And then Ross Rayburn will have a program that comes out the 21st, which will be back bends. So I'm sure they recorded these, before their departure in July.
Yeah.
But it does show that, there are opportunities to, work with them again in the future. The doors, if they had burned bridges when they left, they wouldn't be
putting out
this is an
new
8-week
stuff.
program.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to see that they still are holding on to some new content with them for those who miss Ross and Kristen. So,
yeah.
Cool.
One other new content that came out this week, Peloton released a new set of narrated scenic classes. And just to clarify what this is, historically with instructors, they have been guided in-person scenic classes where they literally flew the instructor to Iceland. They flew them to, I forget what some of the other locations were off the top of my head, but they flew them around the world and recorded them on camera with a microphone on them. I'm sure they did some voiceovers too, but it was them in the video doing the instructions. This set is, maybe they sent a camera guy, maybe it's stock footage, but it's just generic, no instructors in the video for the 30 minutes, but the instructors in the sound booth at Peloton Studios recording the narration for the workout over.
So it's basically just a POV.
Exactly.
Style
with one of the Peloton instructors giving you it over that scenic footage. So there are 5 of them that came out this week. There's Sam Yo, who was narrating in India. Bradley Rose was in Utah. Matt Wilpers was in Italy. Kirsten Ferguson was in Kenya. And Maddie was in Italy. So those are all now available. There were 3 rides and 2 runs. There were no rows, but those are available for hardware owners only because they're still unfortunately locked to hardware because they're considered scenic classes.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, fans of Peloton's dance cardio classes will be pleased to hear that we have 5 new classes that were added on the 18th of September. So they are now available with Hannah Corbin, Jess King, and Rebecca Kennedy. They range in length from 5 to 15 minutes with some beginner, some intermediate, and a warm-up along with a stretch. So we specifically got a 15-minute dance cardio with Rebecca, a 10-minute with Hannah, a 5-minute cardio stretch with Jess King, a 5-minute cardio warm-up with Hannah Corbin, and lastly, a 15-minute Latin dance cardio class with Jess King. And they've all been placed in the dedicated dance cardio collection, which contains all of the dance cardio classes across a span of multiple years that they've been taking place.
Yes. Well, in other news, Jermaine Johnson is back. We had shared a couple months ago that he was having a child. He was off on paternity leave, and he is now back teaching live classes again. His first class was this past Tuesday at 6:30 a.m. It was a full body strength class, but he is now back on the schedule, and you will see him, until his random leave that everyone's going to be getting every couple months now.
What do we call that? A furlough, sabbatical?
We'll think of a creative name for it at some point.
Well, for anyone looking for some longer runs, there is a new 90-minute outdoor audio run with Matt Wilpers that was just added this past Wednesday, the 25th. I was looking at, it's obviously there's a lot of music in there, so I was perusing the playlist, and it looked like it was going to be a full playlist of classic rock tunes. But when I got further and further down, he started going into, newer rock decades. But there's a real good mix. It kicks off with Your Love by the Outfield, Rolling Stones, Steppenwolf, Jimi Hendrix, Creedence Clearwater Revival, AC/DC, Kiss, and then he gets into some of the the 90s and 2000s rock with Blink-182, The Killers, Black Keys, Beatles, and Oasis, just to name a few there.
Nice. Well, we've shared in the past that one of the for Power Zone riders, one tool available that is out there, it's called Home Fitness Buddy, and we've had Power Zone timers on there, which if you want to do a Power Zone ride and you don't like the music, you can run the timer on your phone, take another class, and still follow the structure. And by that, I mean I am a little bit behind on updating those. So in the interim, we've also shared in the past about a cool tool called Domestiq. And Domestiq has now added the ability to have Power Zone timers. So we shared a couple months ago that you can now generate your post-ride Power Zone graphs on Domestiq. You could search and view those graphs ahead of time. But now, in addition, if you want a Power Zone timer, you can run that on Domestiq. And in addition to just showing you the zone changes, there's actually a graph, and it will show you on the graph where you are, so you can see the whole structure and what's coming up. So if you want to check that out, it's free. It's on Domestiq, which is domestiq.net. There's no actual app. It's just a thing you run in the web browser on your phone, but feel free to check that out if you're a Power Zone rider and you want to have a different option for a free Power Zone timer.
I love it specifically for the music song search, because unlike the Peloton app and the Domestiq site, if there's a specific song you want to, search, like a specific Taylor Swift song or something, you can just type in that name and it'll pull up any recent class or artist, and then you can, even filter more from there. So
yeah, while
nice
Peloton
feature.
has added the option for you to do search by artist, they still don't have the ability to search by song, which is one of the things you can do over on Domestiq. So another thing to check out. And again, just domestiq.net is how you get to that. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just going to go to the next story.
Yeah, in unrelated news, Peloton has shared their This Week at Peloton post, which half of it is actually from last week or the week before, and half of it is in the upcoming week. But one thing Peloton highlighted was their metric classes, which came out on September 15th. We shared about them last week, just a new set of classes with no chit-chat and just pure instruction. Those are available in the metrics collection. In addition, they have on the September 18th, they released a 20-minute outdoor greatness run with Alex Toussaint. That is the second class in that series, the first of which was released around a month ago. So they did say it was a series, so it looks like that might be a one a month or so. So that's now available to take outdoors. They also highlighted the Discover Yoga program, which is what we just talked about with Mariana having week 2 of the program that's available. And they also highlighted the new scenic classes, which are those guided scenic classes, which are now available. So that was your This Week in Peloton post.
Cool. Thanks, Chris. So for fans of Jeffrey McEachern, the tread instructor out of London, tickets for a special Red World AIDS Day run with him at Peloton Studios New York went on sale this past Thursday. It is full. So if you're looking to get into that, obviously, keep an eye out for the waitlist option to appear. But he is teaching the 30-minute World AIDS Day run on Friday, evening, November 1st at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Interestingly, it's a pre-record, so I'm not sure if they're what they're doing, what sort of special production they're doing if it's for subtitles, if it's in, I assume it's in English. He's doing it from PSNY.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what the reason is for the pre-record, but obviously it's something that's going to add a little more production time to it.
I believe it is a pre-record because World AIDS Day is on December 1st. So they're probably going to wait and release it on December 1st, and maybe just production-wise or his schedule-wise, that's the only time they could get him to New York. And they did say that members of Team Red would be in the studio for that record. So maybe it was just, in combination with Team Red and Jeffrey in the studio, that was, the closest in they could get that record date.
Yeah, and for anyone unfamiliar, Red is a nonprofit organization. It was founded by Bono and Bobby Schreiber in 2006 to fight AIDS. They partner with some of the world's most iconic brands and people to create products and experiences to help raise money and urgency for, all sorts of global health crises.
Nice. Well, in other news, we have shared, I believe it was just last week, that, Hyatt had teamed up with Peloton and they were offering an opportunity to use points for the All for One Music Festival. And we had shared that Chase had done that last year. Well, there's another partner that's giving you a chance to bid hotel points, and that is Hilton. Hilton has made available through their experiences section of their website 2 different classes that you were able to use Hilton points for. There is a class with Robin Arzon, which is going to be on November 1st. And then there was a class with Jocelyn Thompson-Rule, which is on October 27th. And you are able to use Hilton points to bid on those. It's for you and a guest, so it includes 2 spots in those classes. At the time we're recording this, the Robin class was 75,000 points, and then the Jocelyn class was 50,000 points. And I believe those are both open for bidding until mid-October. So if you're interested in those, we'll have a link in an article on our website, and you can go check those out. And it's another way to get into Peloton classes if you have hotel points burning a hole in your pocket.
So can you only bid on it in a point value, or can you bid on it in a monetary?
For this one, it appears you can only bid with points. For the Hyatt one, you were able to use points or dollars, but this one, so the Hyatt one wasn't an auction. It was literally, this is just the cost. This one appears to be more of an auction. So based on that, I believe they're keeping it just with the points since it's an auction through the Hilton point system.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, for the second time this month, Peloton had some scheduled maintenance on their servers and platform. This most recent one just happened on September 25th, and it was from 9:30 p.m. to 12 a.m. Eastern time. And Peloton didn't specify exactly what they hope to accomplish with the maintenance, other than to say they'd be performing an update, quote unquote. So if you experience any issues during that time frame, that would be why.
Yeah, and thankfully this one, the one earlier in the month, there was about 45 minutes of downtime. This one, I didn't hear
quicker.
Widespread reports, so it seemed like there was no major downtime from this one, which was good news for everyone. And then speaking of bugs and outages, there is currently a bug with search feature on Peloton. Long story short, it is only returning 1 page of results. So if you are doing a search like Alex and you're just wanting to scroll through those, once you look at the first 100 results, you're not going to be able to get to the second page. Peloton has said they are aware of what's causing it, and they will have a fix for that this next week. So hopefully in the next few days, you will be able to endlessly scroll through Peloton search results again.
Cool. Musical artist. Have you noticed, speaking of bugs, have you ever noticed on some random members' profiles, like on the Peloton app, when you go to try to go to their workout history, there's just nothing there?
That is a quirk of the new privacy features when the search by public name rolled out. And then some of the new toggles that they did to basically, if you turn it off so people can't search for you by name, I believe they can no longer view your workout history, even if
you follow that person?
Even if you follow them. I believe that is a side quirk of that new search toggle. So if you want people to be able to look at your workout history but not search by name, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go and update your name to be some fake name, So they can search.
Okay.
They won't find you by name, but then you have to turn the search feature back on so they can view your workout history. So I believe that's a quirk of that search feature they added.
Interesting. Yeah, it's kind of random, but I was like, what's the deal with that? Why is it?
Yeah,
I couldn't understand. Now I know. Well, musical artist Nelly Furtado made a special appearance at PSNY this past week, meeting with several Peloton instructors during her visit. Furtado is one of the 15 artists slated in this year's All for One Music Festival. She stopped by for an intimate listening party celebrating her new album, which is called Seven, which officially released last Friday. The event gave Peloton instructors as well as other Peloton employees a nice opportunity to experience the album a day early, building some excitement for her latest music from the Grammy award-winning artist. Several instructors took to social media to share their excitement about her visit. They posted stories and photos from the event, including in attendance were Kira Michelle, Ash Pryor, Katie Wong, Hannah Corbin, Robin Arzon, and Camilla Ramon.
Yeah, and this did take place right before All for One. At the time we're recording this, we're not quite to when Nelly Furtado's session is, but there's a chance she recorded a class and that will be a surprise drop on demand, or maybe she just didn't have time and literally was there to listen to the album. So we'll look and see over the next few days.
Nice.
Changing gears entirely, we have shared in the past that Peloton used to have two different options for their buy now, pay it later in the US, and that was Affirm, and then another one that they added last year was called Citizens Pay. They are no longer partnering with Citizens Pay. So now if you want to buy now, pay later in the US, you're going to use Affirm. Citizens Pay was there about a year. We don't know whether it was, they just didn't have enough members using it to make it worth their while, or maybe the profit sharing was different and it wasn't as profitable, but that is no longer an option. So new buyers will have to use Affirm if they want to have a, credit option when buying.
Yeah, I mean, I've used them for the tread, for the bikes, had no issues.
Citizens Pay or Affirm?
No, Affirm. And the app is real nice and, nice, great layout. So
yeah, but the good thing was when we used to buy it, they were offering the three-year 0% financing. That was kind of the standard. Well, these days, to get 0%, they only do that for 1 year. And then for the 2 and 3 years, it's now like 5% and up. So it's not
even
as
on the
attractive.
Tread Plus, if you want 0%, you can only get a 1 year, 12-month.
I would need to double check that, but I know for the majority, it's now only 1 year where you can get that 0%, and then anything higher than that, there's a interest rate on it.
Gotcha. Well, Peloton is going to be holding a shopping event and meet and greet with Leanne Hainsby-Aldis in London. I got thrown the Aldis now. The event will be a part of Peloton's Breast Cancer Awareness Month events. It's going to be on Sunday, October 6th at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. It will take place at Peloton Studios London, the store, which is basically, it's connected in the studio there. The event's free, but it does require an RSVP on the event page, which we have linked on the article for this story on pelobuddy.com. If you want to.
At the time we're recording, that is full.
Available. It's full.
It is full, but there is a wait list, so you can put your name to the wait list if you're interested and if spots open up.
Damn. I just checked yesterday when I was writing up the story, and I think there were still RSVPs at that time. The event also teases a new collaboration for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, saying, enjoy the newest releases from our Peloton apparel line, and learn more about an exciting collaboration for Breast Cancer Awareness Month with Leanne. And then while we're staying on the subject of apparel, crossing the pond to New York City, get ready for a New York lifestyle collection, apparel collection, which just launched on September 26th. There's several different pieces. There's graphic fleece hoodies with the image of the torch from the Statue of Liberty, but it's got legs attached like it's running. It's kind of cool. And then there's fleece sweatpants in black. There's multiple colors. There's bra tops, bike shorts, and running tights, as well as some shirts and tanks.
So those other shirts and tights are the initial part that was in the marathon collection, which was released last week. What's new this week is kind of those sweatpants and sweatshirts that have those more. Yeah, those are the more like New York City themed, and they're considering them part of the marathon collection. So you'll see a mix of those, Matt and Beck's tested ones from last week, and then these new New York City collection in there as well.
Yeah, those ones are at the top, but yeah, they're definitely in line with the fall weather that's approaching.
Yep. Well, and with that, I think it is time for instructors in the news. And our first story this week is that Tunde has she has been a partner with them for a year, but she has launched her own flavor of accelerator energy drink. She shared that it's now available, but it's called Passion Fruit. And it's now
a drink, like I said. It was like a Celsius size can.
Yep. She shared a little bit about it. The can, it's in pink and purple. It's got her name on it with a lipstick mark. In addition, she has her book called Speak, which is an acronym, and the words from those acronym are kind of hidden along the bottle as well. So it's another tie back to her. But it's available on Amazon. You can check it out there. She's been a partner with them for about a year was when she first joined, but this is our first branded product from them. So you can check that out on Amazon.
Cool. Well, Cody was featured in an article for Yahoo Life titled How Cody Rigsby Hypes Himself Up. And he basically gave a rundown of his daily habits and essential products to help him show up as his strongest sexiest self, as he says. So I'm just going to give you the little set list of his top 6 things, for his day. So first one is body movement. 2 is a banging playlist. 3 is a tongue scraper. He's very passionate about, having good breath, and a tongue scraper is very important to, because a lot of bad breath comes from your tongue. Lulu shorts. He gave a plug for Lululemon, obviously. Disconnecting from social media in the morning. He's been a big advocate of not going on social media in the morning until, like 10 a.m. or something. So he just, takes a whole break from that when he gets up. He doesn't go right to his phone. And then the last one is meditating, or taking 5 deep breaths throughout the day.
Nice. Well, speaking of products and lists from instructors, Mariana Fernandez was featured in Wellworthy, and the article is just highlighting some wellness essentials and products that she keeps with her and uses. It includes the Lululemon mat, On Cloud running shoes, the Shocks open ear headphones, and there's several other items that, were kind of her essentials. So you can find that linked in the show notes over on Wellworthy.
All right. Well, tickets are currently on sale for a Susie Chan book event for her book, Trails and Tribulations, The Running Adventures of Susie Chan. It is in the UK the morning of October 5th, and it's taking place at a venue called the Northwood House, which I'm not sure, maybe Amanda would know how to pronounce this, or Chris Chow's Cows, Cowes, Cows, which is, I was looking on the map. I was like, where is this? And I had to really zoom out, and it's on this tiny little island, the Isle of Wight in the United Kingdom, which is, I'm not sure what the connection is to that location, why the event is there. It's very random. But that's where it is being held, and you can get tickets. We have a link on pelobuddy.com if you do want to attend, if you're in the area on the Isle of Wight next month.
Nice. Well, Robin Arzon was interviewed in Men's Health Fitness. The article is called Robin Arzon Praises the Latinx Essence of Reinvention, and they interview her about her path into training, her heritage, and her ultimate goal for the industry. So you can find that over in Men's Health and find a little bit more about Robin.
Cool. And Kirsten Ferguson recently spoke on a panel. In her Instagram post about it, she shared, "Last night I had the honor to attend and speak on a panel for Hilarity for Charity, HFC, which is a national nonprofit on a mission to care for families impacted by Alzheimer's disease. to activate the next generation of Alzheimer's advocates and be a leader in brain health research and education. She went on to share a more personal connection to this organization. She said, my grandmother battled with and died from Alzheimer's, and I know firsthand the toll this disease takes on your loved ones and family.
And to wrap the news up, our final story is that Dr. Chelsea Jackson Roberts is now a Capital One partner, and she shared a post highlighting the Capital One Cafe. So you can find more about that on her post. She's actually the second Peloton instructor to become a Capital One partner. Tunde has been a partner for the last year or so, and she's had several events at Capital One cafes around the country. So we'll have to wait and see if Chelsea has some events in the coming months as well as part of that partnership.
Nice. Well, we can jump right into Picks of the Week, where we go over submissions that you send in to us every week, some of your favorite classes from the past week. First up, we're going to start out on the rower. Alex Karwoski's 30-minute Music of Marvel row from September 19th. Susie9D1R said, Alex took us through a great journey with a great movie-themed soundtrack for this one. And then Katie Wong's 30-minute full-body strength premiere from September 20th. Armajar 3 and midwife Lexi said, she was so endearing and the class was great. 2 years in the making and we can finally get strong with Katie, with Wong. And then Hannah Frankson's 30-minute live DJ Defected Records ride from September 20th. Imaginary TV friends and Shay Nation said this ride was killer. London studios are always an amazing show with the live DJ rides. I honestly had no clue about any Defected Records artists, but had a blast.
Well, next we have Jeffrey McEachern and his 30-minute EDM run, which was in English from the 21st. This was from Tracy C., who said he brought the good vibes with an amazing playlist and a fun but challenging run. We have Bradley Rose and his 30-minute intervals ride from the 21st. This is from Daisy Mac, who said he stepped it way up in this ride. I am here for it. And then we have Bex Gentry and a 60-minute progression run, also from the 21st. This came from All Biz Liz, who said, spice up your life with 14 progressions in an hour. That certainly sounds spicy to me.
All right. Switching over to the yoga mat. Kira Michelle's 30-minute yin yoga from the 21st. Jennifer Carroll, 22, and Armajar 3 said, this is so good. I've already taken it multiple times. And then Camilla Ramon's 30-minute metal ride from September 21st. Elizabeth A13 and active Aaron Manis said, Camilla's energy was made for metal. You could tell she was really into it, and her playlists are so thought out. And then Alex's 30-minute Club Bangers ride from the 21st. Molly Nur said, great ride. I was on the 2012 dance floor in this one.
We then have Maddie, who had a 20-minute Broadway walk from the 21st. This came from Mama Ped, who said, amazing Broadway playlist from Maddie in this one. It was just too short. We then have Sam Yo, who had a 20-minute autumn recovery ride from the 22nd. This came from Wit and Grit, who said, I've never taken one of Sam's seasonal recovery rides, but this class was pretty powerful for me. I appreciated the short meditation portion, which helped me center my thoughts and make a conscious choice for myself to pursue over the next few months. And a quick sidebar, this is a series from Sam. They're his seasonal recovery rides. This is his third in the series. He had a spring one, he had a summer one, autumn, and I guess I'll have a winter one, but every couple months he does this, and they're kind of like moving meditations on the bike. You'll always see people be like, man, I wish Sam was a meditation. Until he is an instructor, this is probably the closest we're going to get to that. So do you think Sam would be great on meditations? Be sure to check that one out. And then we have Asal Arian's 20-minute October full body strength class in German from the 22nd. This came from Tom TR2, who said, good workout and like the German Fest theme and badge.
All right, Ash Pryor's 30-minute country pop row from September 22nd. Bertha C. Runs MD said fun karaoke playlist the whole time, and she plays a Tanner Adele song, but not that song we all got sick of a while ago. Not even sure what song she's referring to, but Ben Aldis's 45-minute tropical house ride from the 22nd. Daisy Winstone said such a good vibe and ride. And then Hannah Corbin's 30-minute low impact ride from the 22nd. Spinbug said fantastic playlist.
We then have Kelly Gullickson in her 30-minute glutes and leg strength, which came from on the 22nd from Kathy M19 and Almajar 3, who said, great playlist that makes you want to dance. I took about 10 dance breaks. We then have Vinny Adami and his 20-minute hardstyle EDM ride, which was in German from the 23rd at 12 p.m. Eastern. This came from Almajar 3, who said, great energizing beats. And then we have Mariana Fernandez and a 30-minute 90s run, which came from the 23rd at 5:30 p.m. This was submitted by Tunder Holmes, who said, an absolute elder millennial's dream playlist of one-hit wonders, plus Mariana's coaching had me drenched in sweat and smiling from ear to ear by the end of the class. Absolutely killer class plan if you want to work hard but have a great time doing it.
Right, next up, Allie Love's 15-minute hip-hop bar from the 24th Love Squad Peloton said, hilarious playlist, including Who Let the Dogs Out. Susie Chan's 20-minute 90s walk from the 24th. Just Shields said, good playlist in this one. And then rounding out the picks of the week, Cody's 45-minute intervals and arms ride from the 24th. Olinger Debbie said his intervals and arm rides are always great, and this was no exception.
Nice. Well, I believe that wraps up our show for the week.
No,
it was quick
tight,
and speedy this week.
I know, 45 minutes. Not bad.
Yeah, and there was quite a bit of news in there. So
yeah,
we are getting towards
we never
the time
really seem to have a light week.
We don't.
There's always a lot going on in the Peloton world.
Even when the studios were closed for that week and a half, it still ended up being a lot of news taking place. Maybe over the winter holidays, maybe we'll get a slow week in there, but we'll wait and see.
Peloton is usually, the studio is usually closed around New Year's, right?
So I believe this year it's December 23rd through January 1st. We actually have a list on Pelo Buddy of all the closures for the year. And I believe that is the dates for this year. So there's going to be a good week and a half in there at the end of the year that we're going to have a good closure in there.
Yeah, I was thinking of coming back for New Year's for some concerts at Madison Square Garden. I was figuring Peloton's out at the is not an option during that visit. So
yeah, maybe if you stick around a couple days after, if they're open on the second, you can get one in there. But
cool.
All
right.
Well, thanks everyone for listening, and we will, I don't know if I will be, but someone will be here next week to share all the latest news with you next week. But from me here in Atlanta, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
And for me here in Michigan, appreciate you tuning in and watching and listening. And as always, we will see you on the leaderboard. Bye for now.
Thank you for watching Pelo Buddy TV, your source for everything Peloton, by the community, for the community. Work out with us using the Pelo Buddy TV leaderboard tag and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Pelo Buddy. Don't forget that we have a podcast available so that you can listen to us while on the move. Just search for Pelo Buddy TV on any major platform and hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode.